Hello, my name's John. This is the Necromunda Bounty Hunter, Vandoth the Fallen, and you're watching Wargames, Models, and other hobbies. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be making the Necromunda Bounty Hunter, Vandoth the Fallen. So, first things first, let's open this up and have a look at the parts. Now, there's a few ways you can open these. I prefer to cut the base off and then take the parts out. Do this very carefully, however you want to do it. I'm going to need to change my blade in a bit anyway, because this blade's getting a little bit rough and old. But anyway, let's get all of the parts out. We're going to have a look at them. And once we've had a look at them, I'm actually going to clean them before I start making this model. A few videos ago, I was making some Malstrain Gene Stealers, and I hadn't cleaned them beforehand, which led to glue not working and that kind of thing. So as I just rip the rest of the packet open to get the paperwork out. So let's just have a look at the picture first. So this is Vandoth the Fallen, a bounty hunter from Necromunda, who is rumoured to be a space marine. And what I want to do is put this together so we can compare him in size to Space Marines and things. I do really want to paint this guy as well. I really do like this model. And we have there the details for his character. And here we have some nice simple instructions to go through how to build it. So let's have a quick look at the parts, and then I'm going to get on with cleaning them, and then we'll start making. So we have here, try and get in focus there we go, the body. Really nicely modelled, this one. So there's the body. We have looks like a collar of some kind, and a rebreather, respirator, a big beefy backpack, and the head. I don't know if you can see it. He has some fangs there, which alludes to his Blood Angel origins. All only speculation and rumour, but pretty much he is a Blood Angel who's lost on Necromunda for whatever reason. Hand and some more flasks. Looks like a combat knife. Some little vials. A weapon strap. And then an older pattern bolter there. So normally I don't do cuts in these videos, do it in real time, but there will be a few cuts in this one while I get on with cleaning them. So let me go and clean these parts. So I have here some warm soapy water in a bowl to clean these. Now, the reason why I'm doing it in a bowl, because sod's law is, if I do this in the sink, I'm going to lose some bits down the plug hole. So, let's scrub these to get any of the mould release off. Now, if you don't know what the mould release is, generally you spray on a waxy substance into the moulds, and when you put the resin in, they come out a lot easier. It prolongs the life of the mould, but also it can cause issues if it's not washed off with painting later on, glues, all those kind of things. So anyway, I'm going to carry on doing this. So there are the 6 little sprues all washed off. Now, I'm feeling a bit impatient and I want to get on with this, so I have a hairdryer and I'm going to dry them off. So, sorry about the noise, but I'm going to do that so we can then get on to the next stage. So here we have all of the parts now washed and dried. There may be a few little drops of water here and there, but that's not going to really make too much of a problem while I trim these and stick them together. So I have my scalpel, some clippers, and a saw if needed. Don't think I'll need the saw necessarily, but maybe on some of the thicker ones on the feet I will use it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the instructions and tidy up each bit as I get to it through the instructions. So the first thing I need to tidy up is the backpack just here. So let's clip this off from the resin sprue there, and let's have a look at what I need to sort out on here. So it looks like we have some little risers there that need trimming off, some just there, one on the bottom there, and then obviously the two bits that were the pore holes. There's a little bit of a riser just on the end of that horn there. So let me start with that small one on the horn, and I'm going to take my time on this, so it's going to take as long as it takes, but you're going to see the whole process of me tidying this up and gluing it together. Hopefully this is going to show that there is nothing wrong with my super glue, and it was just the method I was using previously where I didn't clean the models or anything, or it is going to show that the super glue I've got is shit. But we'll find out. Okay, so that's that side done. There's a few drops of water in there, but I'm not too worried. I am just taking my time with this. Now, I haven't done any hobby in a little while. For you guys, last week you would have seen, I think it would have been a Grey Knight video as I was making my Grey Knight Terminators. Sometimes I go through patches where, for whatever reason, I don't get much hobby done. And it doesn't matter how much I want to do it, I just don't have the kind of the oomph to do it. But it happens sometimes to all of us. But I've decided I need to make this model. I've had it for a while, and it's quite nice with the Necromunda characters that you can just build, paint, and you don't have to do a whole squad or an army or anything like that. And sometimes it can feel quite daunting to work on a whole thing in one go. But also at the moment I'm waiting for 11th edition. I'm quite looking forward to it actually. I've got a few plans for that. Right, so the next thing is this collar just here. So let's trim it from the sprue. Okay. Now I am, as I said, taking my time, but this is in real time. So normally, if there's a phone call, my dog needs putting out or anything like that, that's the only time we're going to get another cut. I wasn't going to show you the whole of the cleaning of the parts, as that's a bit dull really, cleaning them with the water, but showing you each of these parts as I work through them. So that does slide on like that. I'm not going to glue it for now because I want to see how it sits onto the model itself. Although it does say that you can put a little bit of glue on it, but I'm just going to sit that on there like that for now. So the next bits I need are the head, which is just here. Let's zoom in on the head because it's a really nice sculpt, this one. You'll see that it's got, if I can get it in focus, this metal visor, and then also some vampiric teeth there as well. You can also see there's still a drop of water there. Right, let's carefully clip that. Now you'll notice when I clip them, I don't clip them right next to the model. I clip them slightly off the model, and then I'll work my way back up to that part of the model itself. So I'm not trimming the wrong part without realising it. But there's the head, done, nice and easy. I can't really see any mould lines on this. It's a really nice casting, this one. Let's zoom out a little bit. Now hopefully the sound's okay on this video. I've moved my kit around a little bit, because as part of my hobby I do enjoy the whole recording of things. So I'm trying to get it so there's clearer sound, and also I'm on camera better and not kind of drifting off as I often do. Now I'm just looking around this one to see where I'm going to trim it. So I'm going to trim the base of all those feet. And then let's trim that. You might hear the wind outside, although it's April and meant to be the start of spring. It's still quite windy out. Right, let's not run that up against my finger. Let's do that against the cutting mat. If I ever cut myself in these videos, which you'll have seen in the past occasionally, I put a countdown timer on to let you know when it's going to happen. So for anyone who's squeamish, they don't have to see that. But as I said, warts and all with these videos, everything that happens gets shown, even the mistakes, because where's the point in learning how to make these and enjoying it if you hide bits and pieces and hide the amount of time it takes to make something? And you might find some of the times when I'm modelling things, I do it quite quickly, and other times I'm quite slow in certain areas depending on what I'm working on. You shouldn't use that as a guide at all on how fast you should be doing your hobby. I've been making models for so many years now. Sometimes I can zip through it, other times I take a bit more time over it. I'm looking at all the details on this, and I have to say, I can't wait to paint it. If you'd like me to paint it on a video, drop it in the comments. I'd be quite happy to go through the whole process. So yeah, just taking my time to look around, see if there's any areas that need tidying up. Bit of a mould line there. Okay. So next is, let's get this bolt gun done. Now I've got to be careful on this, because just there is the end of where the strap will attach, and there is the other end. So let me trim all of these up here. I'm going to do the bolt gun first, very carefully. Okay, so that's that one. Now let's trim the arm with the clippers. Now I don't know whether I'm going to need to pin this or not when I glue it on. We'll have a look. I do like the detail on here of all the little plugs and ports in the arm itself. I can't see any other risers or anything like that on this one, so let's put that to one side and let's get the respirator. Now, by the time of this video releasing, we'll have probably had a lot more information about 11th edition Warhammer 40,000. Okay, I need to be careful of that, that's quite delicate. So carefully put that on one side. Yeah, we'll have heard a bit more information about 11th edition. And I have a few projects that I want to do. I might even get some of my Space Marines finished in 11th edition, even though I started them well before 10th, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the projects I've got lined up. I need to work out the best format for showing you. I do enjoy the real-time videos, but sometimes it doesn't necessarily work for all the kind of the ideas that I've got for videos, so I may do a few different videos to align with that, but it's also getting time. This is just my hobby, and a video a week works quite nicely, although I can foresee when 11th comes out I'm going to do quite a few more videos here and there, so I might do bonus videos each week. So although at the moment I'm just doing videos on a Friday, there will be other days. So looking at this, stop rambling on. So just there is a strap I need to keep. It's very thin resin though, so I'm going to clip it like that, then clip that like that. I don't know how this is going to fit on the model, so just going to do a little bit of minimal cleanup there, and I might have to tweak that later. So now we're on to the last two bits for cleanup. So this is the strap for the bolt gun. So there is that strap just there, and finally the water bottles that don't necessarily contain water. As a blood angel they could, I don't know, contain blood. Okay. Okay, so let me zoom out a little bit. So there we have the strap there and the water bottles. There we have the arms and the little combat knife. There's the body, there's the head, and there is the backpack. So now I'm going to get on with sticking these together. So let me move these to one side. This, like I said, is when I find out whether my super glue is the actual problem in my recent times putting things together. Let's just dry fit this together first. So that's the first bit of an issue with this model. There's no kind of guide to where that goes exactly. It kind of fits in place, but there's nothing to kind of hone in on it that well. That wants to fit like that, so that's going to need to be stuck on. And then as that goes through, okay, I take it back, that's quite nice. That is basically clipped in place, so the collar on the horns and on the backpack means that as that goes in, it holds itself in place. And then the head just fits in like that. That's really nice. Okay. So, let me take that off. Let me get some super glue. How old's that one? Okay, I'm going to try my Loctite Precision super glue. It depends if any glue comes out of this. Let's have a look. This is the other thing which you never really think about. Super glue goes off. So my super glue might have all gone off. So I'm putting a little bit there. Putting a little bit there. And a little bit along the collar there. And then gonna just place this on and hold it in place for a little bit. Sorry if that's just gone out of focus. So let me just put my lid on the glue again. Just hold this for a little bit. Now, I don't tend to use activator for super glue. The real reason behind that is the spray activator. I don't like the spray activator. I don't like aerosoling chemicals into where you're working. And as I'm not wearing a mask, it's not something I'm going to do. But saying that, having some activator that I could touch to the super glue would be very useful, because I can see that this is still moving a little bit, so that's okay. Right, now although on the instructions it says the head goes on next, I'm actually going to put the head on last, and what I'm going to do is put some of the details in place where it wants them to sit. So, firstly, this combat knife wants to sit in there. There's a little hole there and a bit there. So, let's get a little bit of glue into there. Now I've got a feeling that my super glue isn't the best right now. And I do have a newer one up there, but it's in a big pot and it's not as easy to use as the smaller pots. So let's try and line this up and just hold this in place for a little bit. So I'm just going to hold this in place and hopefully that super glue is going to dry. Right, what I'm going to do for now, I'm going to let the super glue on what I've done so far dry, and then we'll come back to it. So I'm going to cut here, let it dry, and then we'll come back and glue the other bits on. See you in a minute. Okay, so I've waited a little while and the super glue has dried. These bits are nice and firm. So let's move on to the next little bits of detail. So that is going to be this little mask. Let's zoom on in. And I think, from the look of it, it sits there, excuse me, and goes to there. Okay. So let's get a little bit of super glue. Ooh, a big blob of super glue. That's a bit annoying, but it happens. Okay. Right, I'm just going to hold that. Oops, sorry, off camera. I'm going to hold that for a little while. So the last few bits, we've got the arms, the head, and a few little bits of detail. I should have thought a little bit before doing this. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name's John, and you've been watching Wargames, models, I think it's my and other hobbies. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use this one again. I'm going to go for my big pot of super glue for the next bits, and we'll see if that's the case. It might just be because I'm using super thin super glue, and ideally I should use a thicker one. So I might have to pick up a thicker one. But for now, I'm just going to hold this in place. It's still moving a little bit. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this in place for a little bit, and we'll come back when it's dry. Okay, that's now glued in place. So looking at the instructions, another bit's going to glue on there, which I'll do in a minute. I'll do it at the same time as the head. I'm just wondering whether it's going to be easier to glue the gun all in place, the strap and everything, before putting it in, before gluing onto his shoulder. I've just noticed as well while doing that, on the end of the bolt gun there, that is not a connection point, that is another riser from the mould. So I'll just trim that off carefully. So I'm going to use a different super glue. Let's zoom in a little bit. And let's put a little bit of super glue on the end of these. Really, I should use some epoxy rather than super glue. Or actually, some UV resin would probably be a good option to go with, as I can use a light to fix it. Although that super glue has worked a lot better than my other one. So although in the Gene Stealer video it didn't work as well, I think I had it then, that was most likely down to me not washing the parts. So washing the part and using that super glue, that seems to have worked far better. But I'm going to put it to one side for a little bit to make sure it does go off correctly. So what I am going to now do is apply this arm here. So a little bit of super glue. What I'm actually going to do as well, I'm going to put a little bit of super glue on the other side. So I'll have it on both the surfaces. So hopefully this one, when we push it in place, and we'll wait for a little bit for it to adhere. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that super glue is getting binned, it's gone off. That's worked in one hit. Wish I'd used that straight from the beginning, but never mind. Live and learn. Okay, just in case, I'm still going to leave the bolt gun to dry a little bit longer. Let's sort out the underside of the backpack. Really, if I looked at the instructions, I would have probably put this bit on at the kind of the beginning before I put the backpack on, unless it wouldn't have let the backpack go in place. Oh look, there's a little, oh sorry, off camera, there's a little Aquila there. Another hint to the past of this character. And that should, if I can actually get into the right position with it. Whoa. Yeah, it's a shame this part didn't go in first. Oh, it's a shame I didn't look at it better, because there is a bit that needs cleaning out there. My bad. Okay. Let's try and glue this. There we go. Let's hold that in position for a little bit. Now, yep, that seems to have worked. I say it seems to have worked. There we go, fell off. I need to be a bit patient, but also what seemed to work last time was a little bit of super glue on both parts and not smacking down onto the model. Yet my stupid fingers don't like putting this bit on. It's because I talked about throwing away a bit of super glue, isn't it? Yeah, the super glue's gone. No, don't like that. Oh, that's a really... Okay, let's flip this upside down and let gravity help us. Oh, this bit is not liking it. Never mind. I'll take it back. I hate my super glue. Let's hold it in place with a blade. And let's just be a little bit patient while this goes together. I have enjoyed putting this model together, and it is a model that I really like, so while this is not wanting to dry, let me just hold that there now. I do like them. I'll put a picture of the model up on screen because I do like this model, and the armour kind of hints towards possibly scout armour, and then for whatever reason Vandoth was either left behind or something happened. Okay, what I'm going to do for a little bit, I'm going to wait for this to dry properly before we go on to those last few bits. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so last two bits to go. That's the arm and the head. I'm not actually going to stick this down onto a base in this video. The base that comes with it is the standard Necromunda base, but I want to have a think about what base I put this on, because I might not do a Necromunda base, or I might paint him off the base and then stick him to the base later on, or something like that. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, let's put a little spot of glue on the arm there. I've put a bit too much glue on there, so let's quickly just take some of that off. So this arm, oh, there we go. Well, that looks like it's just gone in. Let's zoom in a little bit. So that's just gone in there. So let's put a small dab of super glue into that neck hole. It is funny how some bits have just worked and other bits were a little bit awkward while they did it, but hey, that's the way it goes. And then the head just sits like that. Well, there we go. Okay, I'm really happy with the way this model's gone together. Yeah, the super glue's a bit of a pain, and the resin's always a little bit different to work with than the plastic, but that's okay. It's not like the old metal models. If you'd like to see me put a metal model together, I do have some in my collection I can do. For now, yeah, that's it. Hope you've enjoyed this video. This is Vandoth the Fallen, the bounty hunter from Necromunda. And for now, all I can say is, my name's John, and you've been watching Wargames, Models, and Other Hobbies.